Hello, darlings. Here I am. I have been with you in spirit all these months because I'm constantly decoding everything. I've really got to that point now of the seat with the clearest view where I can really perceive all the archetypes and all the story and everything going on. So I've spent the past month and a half since I got back from New Zealand just getting off this information that I've been carrying all this time into 6 different articles on my blog, on my site, Alchemy Accordance. And it's difficult to find that moment to come back to you. Then I had problems with the computer. I had to buy a new computer. As many of you will know, I was in the floods that happened on the 13th, 14th, 15th of February. That's the Lupercalia Fertility Festival. That's why Picnic at Hanging Rock was over Valentine at Appleyard College. And we saw the triple goddesses, the 4 phases of the moon go up to the peak of the mountain. Miranda from the Tempest, she disappears. And the woman in red returns. She's lost her virginity. We've got this new dark side of the moon, Pink Floyd. It was exactly 50 years ago, 1773 to 2023. The last video I did was the Eye of the Tiger, and that Vesica Pisces passage is 3773, 37 years ago. Will be the 2024 Olympics, and is it and 36, we're at 36 years ago since the year of the tiger, 1986, which was the end of the Pluto in Virgo generation, 1968 to 1986. So 86 to 2024 is that 37. Prince Charles was 73 when his mother died, and this is the passage, the dark side of the moon, as we leave the mutable cross, Jupiter and Mercury, JM. We are hovering over the wand of Merlin and Arthur, and we have the joining of the High Priestess and the Magician, Virgo, and Jupiter, Sagittarius. That makes 6th house Virgo, 9th house Sagittarius. That's making the Kali energy. The moon is 69, and we've got this moment of Inanna, Catwoman. The moon represents the female energy hidden within the man, the anima, and the sun, the dog, is the hidden energy in the woman of the animus of Mars and the sun. So the coronation is the corona tie on, rhythm of the nights. Tie is also tie, Asia, but it's the cravat, the woman's wearing the tie. This is facing the last phase of the moon, the High Priestess. She incorporates the 3 phases of the triple goddess, the maiden Virgo, the mother Diana, who's been made into Armistice, but it's a bit between Virgo and Diana, and Hecate, the old hag. And now we've got this black sun, the black Madonna, and her son, the passage. So Meghan Markle is playing very much not coming to the wedding, just as Angelina Jolie played the role in Sleeping Beauty of Inanna, not invited to the wedding. It's always an alchemical process. Here we're seeing the marriage of the sun and the moon, Solomon, and it's being used with this lunar eclipse. It's bringing in the cat on a hot tin roof. This is the bringing in of the fertility. So the floods, I was at Lion's Rock. I knew the floods were coming. I knew it was coming. I didn't think we would be directly targeted, so we actually only had half an hour to get out of the house before the whole house was covered in water. I was sleeping in a van, and luckily Michael the angel, Michael, because I was telling everybody, like the child in the Emperor's Naked, what was going to happen. So you can't sacrifice people who tell you they know. When you know what's going to happen, there's no point in sacrificing them, because you know, and the spell is returned to the people. So we were saved, and we're fine, but I lost all my equipment, and I've spent this time, since I've been back, I brought back a computer from New Zealand, but it was just completely bugged. And now I've got another new computer, and at last I can start my readings again. All the people who've been waiting that I had intended to do in New Zealand. So I'm back to work. I should have had a reading right now, but they cancelled, so I thought, go for it. Just get some ideas out now. And let's begin with the coronation. And so you see, we've had Mars, which is for the coronation. Mars is on Pollux. There's Mars on Pollux. So Pollux is the boxer. This is Romulus and Remus. This is that moment at the summer solstice. This is Prince William's birthday, the 21st of the 6th, the 21st of June. He has his sun right on the wand. And for this, we had Mars war on the boxer. So Lord of the Rings. In French, it's Seigneur des Anneaux. Eau is water. That's why we've got in New Zealand the 3 waters at the moment. And in France, we've got the plan d'eau. The plan d'eau, the histoire d'eau. So Mars is bringing up that Cain and Abel. These are the twins. We're no longer the solstice. We're now hovering in this Milky Way gap until the wheel falls totally onto the fixed cross. We've got this Narnia gap. So for the coronation, we've got Venus that rules Taurus, who will be going retrogrades. I think it's in Cancer. Let's see. I think it's here. It's right, it's Solomon. It's right from, yep, she gets onto Regulus, Inanna, in front of Buckingham Palace. You've got the girls on the lion. So Virgo rises above the horizon. Pisces falls under the horizon for the spring-autumn equinox. And so as Virgo rises and prepares to fall on the lion, she tames the beast, Beauty and the Beast. This is this is the journey before the lion lies down with the lamb. This is, the woman has to come out of that Cinderella complex. Inanna is born. Venus is in detriment, evening star in Virgo, and exalted in Pisces. So we've got this marriage going on as we leave Virgo, and we're in the gap before we come to the lion, Venus. Let's go back to now for the coronation. Again, this is the 5th of the 6th. So you'll see in all my articles, this is 5-5, the 2 hands, how wow, Hawaii 5-0. So yeah, there's 56 years that Pluto was in Cetus, in Pisces, in the Victorian era. I showed you that many times. And there's a whole load of things about 56 years for the Paris Olympic. Yeah, 56 years from Rosemary's Baby, the 1968 generation, the generation of the monkeys, the moon key. Remember Pink Panther with Peter Sellers playing the PC, Pollux and Castor, the policeman, and he gets distracted with a monkey as there's a bank robbery going on. When he goes to see the inspector, the chief, you've got the cross of the 2017-2024 over America eclipses, so the Paris Olympics 2024. So 56 years from 68 to 2024. 56 is many things. I told you as well about my great grandmother, who was the May Queen at the Victoria National Gallery. You know, that's all very important. She's the Isle of Wight. That's why we had Andromeda. So we had, for the eclipse, we've got Andromeda. There she is. Got Andromeda. I've got a better picture to show that. I'm not going to start getting confused because I want to keep this really simple. But there she is. So in my village, for example, since World War II, we've had a siren. A siren is a mermaid. And we've had a siren every day at midday. My village is the 322. So that is the Skull and Bone Cross. And 322 is the equinox. You know that Putin is the horizon, it's the horizon, and Ukraine is the vertical, it's the cross. It's this moment to find the correct cross. So they turned off the siren, there's no more siren. The mermaid is falling under the horizon. And as she falls under the horizon, we're bringing up Merlin. They're making this king in Asia of the lion, and the water, the pink panther, white water, red air. It can also be Scorpio, white water, and the red air of Libra. So we've got this gap. They're merging Sagittarius with Capricorn, Pisces, with we've got Taurus and Gemini. And we've got Leo and Virgo making the whore of Babylon. And we've got, I've said Sagittarius, Capricorn, Pisces, Aquarius, and Gemini and Taurus. So this is the metador, this is the meter. So we have, for this coronation, Venus on the wand of Merlin. Venus rules Taurus. She'll be going retrograde from this point of Solomon over Cali in a few months, I showed you. And then we had the Sun conjunct Uranus and the head of the snake Rahu on Medusa, the jellyfish. Mercury completely retrograde. So this is Harry in Aries, you know, the forgotten red. Mars, he's going to come back, he's going to have his revenge. Mercury, and then we've got the other Uranus, the sudden shock change, and we've got the Sun, William, with his father being crowned. This is the crowning. We're going to bring Apollo. Prince William will be Apollo. Then we've got Jupiter still at home, right on the V for victory. And we've got a meteor that came in from Halley's Comet, and I think that was from 86. So again, that's bringing us to the 56 years of the 86 generation. That was the year of the tiger. We had last year the year of the water tiger, and we're now in the air. We've had years of programming, 9/11. Sagittarius, Jupiter to take the 11th house of the King of Air, and Fukushima 3, Gemini, to take the Air ODIN. These are the two gaps of the Milky Way between Gemini and Orion, and between Sagittarius and Sagittarius and Altair here. This is where Pluto was for the floods and the crowning of this 13th sign of Ophiuchus. So mainstream said that the moon was in Scorpio on the feminine axis, making that lunar eclipse. So it's a full moon. The moon was in Libra and the sun was in Aries. That's Alpha Omega. And we saw that that is the king. He's got his sun in Libra, and I think he's got his moon in Aries. I've got all these charts in my in my blogs. Everything's in the past, the 6 articles I've done. So he's integrating the moon. That's why they were all in white. This is, you know, this is all about Diana has gone into the underworld under the Pont d'Alma. She is now, this energy of her is brought up, and we're seeing it. You know, there was William having an affair with a rose. We've just had a girl, Ross Cantor, who's won badminton on a horse. She's RC, so Prince Charles is Charles Rex. The horse that won the Grand National was CR as well. It's the Cairo, it's the Chiron. We've also got Chiron's last, because Chiron is going to return to Aries, where he was discovered in 1977. We've got that angle, we've got Saturn right on the true third eye, making an angle to, well, he was making that angle to Taurus, but the sun is right at the end of Aries, and we've got the moon here making to the moon. So taking out, well, Pluto's the one that's making the right angles. Pluto in Scorpio is making the right angles to, on the cardinal cross, too. So, you know, this is Pluto's journey. This is what I've just written. I'm going to show you. So this is the last article I've just done. So you see from the last video I did, that passage 3773 is L, hell, L, the winged victory. L in French, a wing is an L, the WWll. So going through that passage, there you've got Queen Victoria led to gold, and you've got this this period, this passage of Inanna. It's no longer the Oscar Wilde, the Little Prince with the swallow, the golden prince that stands, and all his gold is taken away. We're bringing up this merging now of this gap, this Inanna, this black sun. So there you've got VirgO with the lion carrying the piece, Olive, and she's also got the sickle. That's Spiker, that's the harvest. She's going to play the role because Pluto, the squared circle, that's Mars for all the floods. From the 8th, Mars had entered the 8/8 of 2022. The 8 Mars entered his period in Taurus for the Queen's death. The 8th of the 9th, he was on Aldebaran, and then he retrograded. Jupiter was right in the sword in the stone, right in the whale's tail. Jupiter doesn't have any air. Those are the wings of Lucifer, the winged victory. And then for the floods, for Valentine's Day, which was on 2023, February the 13th, Mars had returned to Aldebaran and Jupiter to the whale's tail, and Neptune had just entered Pisces. Pluto had just entered, or no, Pluto was still under Altair. Yeah, that's why it was so important. Pluto was still in Sagittarius, but we had Mercury, the black Madonna, and her son, the Dauphin, to make the Merlion. So that was very important. From August 2022, the Lion, we had Mars to make the Whore of Babylon, and then for the floods, Mars was there as well. So that was the Philosopher's Stone, the squared circle. Okay, this moment where this is the optic fiber that's all been brought in, the light of Lucifer. Can you get that passage that passage through. So we've got the summer and winter triangles. So the summer triangle is Altair, Deneb, and Vega. And then we got the winter triangle between Gemini and Taurus. The summer triangle is between Sagittarius and Capricorn, and the winter triangle is between Gemini and Taurus. So for me, the dark side of the moon is when these two triangles merge. They merge. And that's what this article is all about. There you've got that passage. L, 10 and 10. Jupiter takes you from Pisces to Sagittarius. That's 10 signs. But then you've got to get through the gap to get to the kingdom. That's what we're going through. And then we've got this touching point. There are 55 kilometers. There are 55 kilometers between Russia and Canada. RC again. And this is the closing of the two triangles. Okay, I don't want to get into all that too much. You can see that. So this is what we had for the floods. Saturn had just returned home that day, the 13th. The Sun was still in Capricorn, and Saturn had just moved out of Capricorn, exactly like the first day of Corona was the 11th, the 3rd, 311 again, 311, giving to Gemini, 3rd house, the power of Capricorn, because 311, because Saturn had just entered Capricorn for Corona, just as the Queen died on the birthday of Corona. So Saturn had just returned, and Venus was still in Aquarius for that. So we had the breaking of the dams. Notre Dame, the falling of Notre Dame in 2019, just before Easter Day, on that Monday, we had the moon. The moon was on Regulus, exactly like Venus is going to go retrograde from Regulus back to Cali in July, I think it is. You have to go back and see when it was. We had also Mars that entered into here for the 8-8 Lion Gates 2022, and for the falling of Notre Dame, the moon was here and Mars was on Aldebaran, and then 6 days later for 2019 Easter Day, Ishtar, Inanna, Happy, the bull god. My dog was called Happy. He was sacrificed for the Lupercalia festival, because where I live is, I think I live under the summer triangle, and where I was in New Zealand is the winter triangle. So, you know, they give us this enormous distance from New Zealand to here, and I think that there is a gap. There is actually a way that we can meet, and they're making this road that's going to go from England all the way to America, this train. That's what that other article is I have. That's what it's all about. So we go back to my articles, this one. So this is Bess, the god of fertility. This is the gap, the keeper of the four corners, Sirius. Exactly like Inanna is the keeper of the four corners. He takes over the fertility. Lord of the Rings, so Raging Bull, Lord of the Boxing Rings, Pollux and Castor, JB Pillars, which is what you see here. It's the red and the blue, and the moon, the passage of the deadly mother, the last phase of the moon. I call that Mercury, Moon and Mars, MM. So there's a film just out, Jean Barry, JB. I told you about this film. the Baron, and they're both exactly like CC 3-3, Camilla and Charles. This is the moon passage. In that film, I went over it in a video. You've got that role, you've got Uma Thurman playing the Venus passage. Again, it's always about the two sides of the coin, the French and the English. They're bringing up now through the retirement age, 64, when I'm 64 in France. 64 is 46 chromosomes. It's 49, and this is what I'm going to show you. It's Jane Birkin, and there she's decapitated. This is the war for the water, Rolls-Royce, Romulus and Remus. Got the lions, and this is Arthur's, the umbrellas. It was raining for the rain. The Rover's return at Coronation Street. That's the PQR code. There's one corner missing. 777 is 21. Mercury was retrogrades. Mercury takes 88 days to do the cycle. That's not the closing of the wheel. It's not the 88 constellations of the Twin Peaks. This is why Chiron's last, is having a wobbly, because he's playing this role of getting ready for Chiron's last. Okay, so for the storm Gabrielle, this is Gabrielle. There's the wings, the whale's tail, William Telltale. It's the Rahu, the lunar nodes, the snake, the Milky Way. It's Bess, it's just like Arthur and Merlin. He's holding the harp. There he is. This is why the Maori people are now taking the water. They're bringing back the ownership of the water, the three waters, the lakes, the sea, and the rain. And always moon and fire. Moon and fire. Okay, so cat on a tin roof, Puss in Boots, Corona Tion, Corona Rhythm of the Night has been prepared through the ages. Every time Pluto's subconscious mind passed through the feminine signs, every time Pluto's in a feminine sign. So Pluto in Taurus, Earth Black, from 1870 to 1899, and then Pluto hovered over ODIN, Celine Dion, Selene. It's just Diana, Sylvester, the cat, the black cat that kills the canary in 1900. Then Pluto was in Cancer, water for World War II, 1936 to 1949. It's your 64. Then Pluto in Virgo to birth the Rosemary babies, 1968 to 1986. Black Earth. And then 1996, 2007, we have Pluto entering Scorpio, water, white, ice queen, to birth Harry Potter, and then the passage over Ophiuchus, the snake, Hercules, the pharmaceutical, the green god, Charles is the gardener, the magician, the 13th sign, the snake. He wants to kill her. We've got to rise as the true energy without the seductive energy of Venus. That is, Libra is masculine, not feminine. Taurus is feminine, not masculine. So there's that inversion, that Aphrodite being risen. That's why this young girl just won the badminton horse trials. I'll show you that in a minute. So then 1996, 2007, Pluto entered Scorpio, water, ice queen to birth Harry Potter, Ophiuchus, Hercules, the pharmaceutical magician, 13th sign, the snake. HP balance, alkaline acid is 7. It goes to a scale of 14. 14 pieces of Osiris. 7 is the last leg. Harmonic procession, Holland Park, that's where there's the orangery, that's where the Theosophical Society and all the Victorian period was the preparation of this golden dawn. And now for the Paris Olympics 2024 to Crown Orion Magician. Oh, I'm just knocking off all my homeopathy pills as I move my mouse. The Magician that holds the flame of the cat, dark side of the moon, last moon phase Pluto is in Capricorn, Earth, black, HECATE INNANA, 2023 to 2040. HECATE, the deadly mother, must be past, the black sun, the black Madonna, and her son to make this 20-year passage before we leave the gap and fall onto the fixed cross. Cats under attack. There's a lot of propaganda with cats saying that they give you parasites and they put you under a spell and make you love them. And that's always the Black Plague, was because the cats at the time of Pope Gregory the 13th, he said that the cats should be killed, and then the women, the owners, got killed. And then, that was all the Julian and Gregorian calendar that created this 13th constellation with time manipulation, leap years. And that is Grace Jones, the Black Panther. It's Jour J, Gigi, Gigi. I've told you this difference between the pronunciation of J and G. The deadly mother must be past. So to make this 20-year passage before we leave the gap and fall onto the fixed cross, cats are under attack, back to black. So that film came out, this one with Harry, I can't remember her name, was in 2004. That's to mark that period, the Olympics 2024, and Pluto leaving Capricorn. Entering Capricorn in 2024 and leaving in 2040, 24 again. So we had the Page Boys. There's Celine Dion. Dion is ODIN. The rings, you've got the eyes of the horizon. You've got to make that triangle to the third eye. Third eye, that is what this squaring of the circle, you've got to get through the Taurus. Dirty Diana, Diana and Dodi. Diana and Dodi, there's a statue of them dancing and their arms make the diamond shape, the two triangles, the winter and the summer of above and below the horizon meet to make the diamond, to split the worlds. And that's just the William Tell. That's that balloon came down. That's the moon. That's the waters. That's taking her fertility. We had the missing of Nicola Bully. Nicola is Nikola Tesla 369. You need the 12th door. This is the passage of the 369. So this is something I went to the closing of the Four Corners at the Sulphur Point by the sea cell with all the children from the schools. They closed Pandora's box and there's the crescent moon held upside down. There's the box being closed. Yeah, I was absolutely where it had to be, and we've got the green. We've got the green on the horizon. New Zealand is the new N, becomes the Z on the horizon. The true new year is on the horizon. Kiwi is the key to the west east. There she is, the holder of the three phases, the last phase of the moon to get past. The Boaz Jacqueline pillars, there's the phases of the moon. And there's Miranda with that lizard that you see also in the constellation, the salamander. And that's where I was, Lion's Rock, where there is, that's Lion's Rock. Our house was right in front. There was no reason for our house to get flooded. There was no, it was all the houses, other houses damaged was from water slides, mudslides. And our house, it was just blocked drains. And within 30 minutes we were evacuated. The water had gone to the roof and we were on the news. There's a link to that in my first article. And there are the triple goddesses. The moon, the water disappears, and in come the earth goddess, the last phase of the earth goddess, Pluto in Capricorn. And there she is riding the lion. The 7-7, it's the element of lead, is 2 sevens and 1 7. That makes the 3 sevens, G7. And that is the new current summer solstice, Prince William's birthday. So that's Lion's Rock. There she is, the Mary, exactly like where I live here. You've got Mary on the rocks in Jerusalem, Lot's wife. You've got at Biarritz where they had G7. You've got Mary on the rocks, Bloody Mary on the rocks. And here you've got Lead, Pooh Bear and Paddington Bear, PB, taking the milk and honey. There's the lead symbol. That's 2 sevens and 1 7. Which is just like the Paris Jupiter, the 2442, Pete Paul crowning Jack. Squared circle again, the boxing ring. BP sponsored badminton horse trials with Mars. It's the Green Man. And this is Bay of Plenty. So when I left the west of New Zealand to the safety of the grandparents, you know, both their sons died, very much as in the story of Pollux and Castor. One son died, the other went to follow the other one. And we went to join the parents who are in this area. And this was next to all this area down here was Hawke's Bay, where they were mercifully, the dams were let loose, the dams were released with the flooding, so people were trapped in mudslides in their houses. And it's the area where all the food is grown. So what I had on the west was, we would just hit the Lion and the east, the west and the east, and Bay of Plenty, we've got the Wings of Lucifer. And in my other articles you can see the Tauranga, where the mount, the volcano is the torch, it's the wand of Merlin. Okay, so Poubelle, PB again, in Paris, there were all the dustbins blocking. It's your Paddington Bear. And then this girl just won this weekend during the coronation. Incredible rider, incredible young woman, but we've got very much the Rose, the Elizabeth line. We've got this young girl who's got this maturity to reach this 5-star level. There was a real carnage of horses damaged, tired, falling, a dead horse, of course, and then these few riders that reach this 5-star ability to be the higher self on the horse. Badminton held during the Coronation, HH Horse and Hound, HH 88 constellations and 88 days Mercury cycle of the wheel, sponsored by Mars, and BP is the element of lead, lead to gold, and is also Paddy Bear, Paddington, Badminton. The North Polaris star, horse trials at 5-star level. It's a humongous level. All for one and one for all is when you remember 1111. So she was number 71, and last year Laura Colette wrote Gigi is 77, and this girl was 71, and Laura Colette was 77. So you've got the 2 1-1s, your legs, arms, and find your head, your 5th element. This sport is only for those who find the balance of the horse's eyes, horizon, and your 3rd eye, crown, your crane. The jumps and the training and trust involved to reach this peak is what alchemy is all about. Sulfur Salt, Mercury, Alice, Chalice. Yeah, they were interviewing some girl called Alice, so I put that. VirgO, the child, the crowning is all about becoming the captain of your vessel, raising the Christos oil, the anointment. the vagus nerve. Celine Dion sung at Las Vegas, which is between North and South America, Mexico, Hawaii. The Godwit birds migration path is between Alaska, Hawaii, New Zealand, and LA, and the swallow in Europe. So we've got the summer and the winter triangle, those two birds showing us the journey of this closing of the two triangles to make one triangle. That's the Milky Way closing, the two tips of the Milky Way. Eventing and show jumping and dressage and cross country. The cross you bear is the only sport that mixes men, women of all ages, because it is a direct example of how we as humans ride, pilot our own flesh, body and spirit and higher self mind through life. The horse becomes the flesh, Jupiter, and the rider is the mind, Mercury, and the merging of the two is the spirit, Saturn. Corach Rambler won the Grand National, and Ross Cantor on her 11-year-old, name of the rose, Ross, number 71, same as 11 or 77, and L even. We have the four legs, all for one and one for all. In lead, she was in the leads, led at Badminton for the moment. So when I posted that she hadn't won, she then went on to win RCCR, Charles Rex Cairo, Chiron's last. So there's 71, and last year they won at 77. That's the horse that won Aintree. The entry, Ain, is how you pronounce my village, which is AIG, the last egg, eagle, leg, egg. Puss in Boots kills the egg. And it's the vertebrae, the tree, the ain tree, the green tree, the vert green arbre. We've got Pierre, Paul and Jacques, Jack and the Beanstalk, Mr. Bean. Prince Charles is playing like Peter Sellers and being there, the fool. The one who plays the magician with the high priestess. There's Chiron's last, the horse, the wounded healer. And we've got this last passage of the mutable cross, the closing of Pluto in Capricorn, and the full moon eclipse was in Aries, Libra, Alpha, Omega. So that's something from the beginning of the beginning of the wheel, the beginning in Africa, the first Solomon, and this is exactly where Venus is going to be going retrograde from Leo to Cancer, Solomon. And there you've got Rumpelstiltskin, same archetype as Bess, the keeper of the four corners, trying to take her baby, her fertility. Inanna is the weaver, the wheel. And this is the passage of her trying to, remember. She has to find the name. She has to know who she is, who he is. And he weaves that straw into gold. So we got to do this passage. This is in Tauranga, where I was, the cat on the hot tin roof. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was interesting, the child touching the cats. That's Bay of Plenty, that's the whale's tail, the swords. And at the top up here, you've got the mount, this is the wand. That's all in my other articles. The dark side of the moon, well, there it is. There's the mount, there's the wand, there's the torch. And that closing of the boxes that I showed you, which I've got lots more pictures. There's a picture of me sitting on the rocks there. I was in the official pictures, very symbolic. I couldn't believe I was there. And you see, this is PP, pilots. Well, there's PB again, Pilots Bay, Bay of Plenty. And there's also the actual place was Pan's Point. So it's the PP. There was a big scandal whilst I was away of a celebrity in France. His name is PP, and he caused a car accident where a woman in a car lost her baby. It's the fertility. There's that joining of the eyes, the horizon with the third eye, stand up straight, the closing of the Milky Way, the winter and summer and autumn and spring triangles become one. Sagittarius was always the teapot. It's the sulfur Mercury, and we've got that kiss. Okay, so just finishing looking at this article, which was called the May the 6th, May the Sex be with you. So there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there, but I'm going to just show you. So there was a lot about the name of the rose, this Venus, Ishtar. That's Leon, Lord Leon, LL77 on the lion. Lord is next to me, where the Polaris, North Star Polaris is, and the water from the mountains, the Pic de Midi, the midday peak, run to Biarritz into the Atlantic Ocean, where we've got the Virgin standing on the rocks. That again was, see, all the roads got cut off, as I knew they would. Nobody has been allowed to Lion's Rock. They've only just opened the roads again. And that was a picture at Lion's Rock, where we've got the sea lion, Merlin, and there you've even got a Merlin there in Asia, the sea lion. These are the gates of Ishtar. There she is, riding. And there you've got the 777, the 3 needles, and this new dark side of the moon, the lion, the whore of Babylon, taking it on. So that is a great picture of Lars. You can see this Virgo and Pisces for the coronation exactly. And then so we've got the winter triangle here, the winter triangle here. Okay, and I've got charts. I want to show you charts. This is just the journey of the swallow, and that joining, that is the journey. That 55, the eclipse was on the 5th of the 5th, and there are 55 kilometers between the Russia, that's Ra. And that journey of the Godwit is, those are the bicycle paths, like the bicycle in E.T. crossing the moon. And there you've got that journey between New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Alaska, and Hawaii. The new hidden hands, Pierre, Paul et Jacques. That was what I went to see. So the 8 on its side, the meter, the closing of this was for the treaty, the Watangi Day, 6th of February, Google honored the Green Man. There are those triangles. This is what you see in New Zealand. So I lost everything in New Zealand, everything. I'll show you a little bit. I think it's in here, the flood. So yeah, that was a picture of our house the day after. So my van is completely under the water. The water, this is the top floor. There's another floor underneath. And then 4 days later, they did a news report, and there's my van halfway. I'd actually moved it and driven it slightly up the hill the day before. And this is the oh yeah, I've got all the charts. The charts are going to be here. Great. So that's the chart of the flood. There's Mars on Aldebaran. We've got Saturn just moved for the 13th Valentine into Aquarius, the 11th house. This is what Sagittarius 9 and Gemini 3 want. This new axis. We're leaving the axis of 6, 12, Corona and Victor, Virgo and Pisces, and they're flipping us to this 13th sign king with Merlin on the other side. 3-9, so 3-11, 9-11 to take the 11th house. So yeah, we had Mercury, we had Pluto, was not actually just in Capricorn yet. Mercury was taking that energy, as I said, as Pluto prepares for 20 years in Capricorn. And the moon was also in Libra, as it was for this eclipse we've just had. So there, the 5-6, there we've got the picture I wanted to show you. You've got the mirror. You've got the mirror. You've got, it's not Cassandra, it's looking mirror, mirror on the wall. We got, that's what Libra is. Mirror, mirror on the wall. She is the wicked stepmother, Andromeda, and you can see there's the lizards, as you see in Miranda at Picnic at Hanging Rock. And remember, that was in the Isle of Wight. This is this thing in the Isle of Wight. The Victorian fort complex at White's western tip is home to 2 gun emplacements. So 2 guns is the 77. It's our voice. There's a right angle for our voice. The trigger is our tonsils. There you've got the 3 needles, just like we see at Merlin now in Asia, Merlion. So all this missing, presumed dead we had with Nicola, Bullseye, the bullseye, Mars, that was telling me that we were about to live. And but luckily we didn't go missing. Okay, so there is an image at Napier of the flooding. We've got Poseidon, we've got the triad, and all the children in New Zealand now participate in triathlons. They all have to they have to run Mars, Aries, they have to swim Jupiter, Pisces, and they have to ride their bicycle, Mercury, Freddie Mercury. So this is the jellyfish. I also met children. There was a massive production in Tauranga. All the schools played jellyfish, and I thought it was just going to be a little production, and then I saw the pictures. It was massive money production of having all the children like these little jellyfish. J for jellyfish. It's the Manda Fatima. It's Inanna. And there we've got Altair, Jupiter, Altair, and Jupiter Pisces, and holding this winged victory, Buckingham Palace. Lot's wife, there she is in Biarritz, there. Okay, I want to show you Corona, Rhythm of the Night. This is where I was witnessing this, the closing of the box. So yeah, Nima, this is the luminaries, a thing that I saw on the aeroplane. I've got the book. I would love to have one of these. You can see the cycles of the planets moving around. Eleanor, cat on, a hot tin roof. So this is Nima. Whilst I was in New Zealand, Jacinda left to give the place to Pip Hipkins, just like I was telling you, Pip and Estella in Miss Havisham in Charles Dickens. in Charles Dickens' book, Great Expectations. Great Expectations. Pip thinks all the time it's Miss Havisham that's given him the power, the money, when it was actually the gangster. You know, Hell's Angels. Prince Charles is head of Hell's Angels. L-N, Hell N-L. He is the passage of Inanna. So there's the squared circle, the logo of Nima. New Zealand, Nima, here he is, Pip. Nima, she is the goddess of the same as Gabrielle for the storm, the war, the flood, the storm. And Nima is also means, it's also the connectors of the energy. That's Notre Dame. Bess again. Okay, I'm looking for the charts. So there is Viracocha, the four corners, holding the gates. There's your green god coming between Sagittarius and Scorpio, Gemini and Taurus. You've got Orion, and as Orion, the winter triangle and the summer triangle here meet, we've got this passage of the green gods. That's why Prince Charles is the gardener. 13th sign, Ophiuchus. This is the solar eclipse we had on the 20th of April. So sun and moon conjunct, again all in Aries. The lunar eclipse was in Libra, the moon in Libra. Conjunct, that was a total solar eclipse. Conjunct to the sun and moon completely. Mercury was not yet retrograde. It was the day he started going retrogrades. Conjunct Uranus, Saturn, and you know, Mars was on Sirius. As then Mars was on Pollux and Castor for the 5-5 coronation, 5-6. Storm Gabrielle, Fomalhaut, where Saturn was for the coronation, sitting at home on the true third eye. That's why Camilla and Charles went to Giza, and they've come back. They rejected the true stone. They're using the stone of Taurus, the philosopher's stone, the bullseye. And this is, Fomalhaut is between Pisces and Aquarius. Gabrielle, so the storms was Gabrielle. God is my strength. Gabrielle is a baby's name of French origin, a French form of the Hebrew name Gavriel. This baby means God is my strength. If you intend to raise, well, okay. When holding the spect and the orb, always there's the four corners. Jupiter was in this connection between Pisces and Aquarius. Okay, bullseye. In here I've got, so Saturn enters, these are things I was writing before the flood in New Zealand that I was able to get back because Facebook threw me off as well, so I wasn't able to collect everything I'd been writing whilst I was in New Zealand, but I had made a few posts on the community and YouTube. So this is the stuff I was writing before the floods. As Saturn enters Aquarius for the Lupercalia Fertility Festival, Cupid Valentine 13, 14, 15th Feb. Gabrielle is set to hit the New Zealand 13th Feb. Tess of the d'Urberville, Tesla. Valentine's Day, picnic at Hanging Rock, Appleyard, Will.i.am, Telltale, Splash, College, Nick, Tesla, Nicola. Ola is a wave. It's also what the matador says in front of the bull. Ole, ole. So it was the wave. Uber, Tess d'Urberville, LA woman, missing, the bullseye. So I was trying to tell people, thinking there's really a woman that goes missing. It's about, you know, the end of this white woman and the old Virgo Cinderella complex. This is the earth girl rising and the end of the water. Miranda, the Tempest, B13, East Beast, Breast, Ishtar Gate. The Ishtar Gate was the 8th gate to the inner city of Babylon, and Mars entered Leo on the 88th. The whore of Babylon, Horizon, Ions, rides the Leon, Lion, Elon, Noel. The true new year is spring equinox, Mars on the bullseye right now, as it was for the Queen. So I was, you can finish reading that, but I knew exactly what was coming. And luckily, very kind, incredible man came and knocked on our door and said, you must leave now. And by the time I got out with the children, Chloe was hanging around trying to bring the dogs, but the dogs were too afraid to move because the water was rising really fast. By the time he went back to get her, the car got stuck under the water and the dogs didn't want to come out. Chloe's dog managed to run out, but an older dog of the person who lived below, who actually left us for 3 days, I'd said to him, we're going to need a guy, we're going to need somebody to protect us, and he packed up all his affairs and went. So it was all very much designed to happen. There's the bullseye, there's the breast of Venus, the mosque, the tits. So that was all stuff I was writing as well. That's all taken from before. And I was trying to explain where we are. Okay, I want to find the chart. There she is with her spect and ball. This is the winged victory. This is Nima. Is a goddess of chaos and confusion associated with the frenzy of battle. She is often depicted as a wild and unpredictable figure and is said to cause confusion and disarray on the battlefield. So there's your Nima. So I was showing all this information to main people of where we were in PR. Basically knowing that by being the child that speaks up and says that the emperor's naked, that I was busting spells. And I had a breakdown 2 weeks before because we'd already had cyclones and the roads were going, and I didn't want the children going in the bus on this 17-kilometer journey to school. And I wanted us to go to the grandparents. I knew we would be safe over there, but they were, Victoria, we always have cyclones here, it's always and I said, but the VirgO, they're going to bust the dams, the VirgO's waters to birth the black sun. Mercury was in Capricorn, and then I just calmed down and I just went with the process. I knew that I just had to live it. I had great friends on Facebook, one lovely friend, Susie, writing on my Facebook, get out, Victoria, get out, get the family, take them out. But I just wrote, I said, look, there's nothing I can do. We got to live it. We got to live it. So we had to live it. Okay, let me find the chart. Okay, as I'm looking, remember Turkey, Syria, there we've got the breast again, the bullseye. This all happened after Nikola Tesla. Turkey is that crescent moon, the last phase of the moon, Midnight Express. I've spoken to you about that film many times. I've spoken to you about Kent's Turkey. That's why there were the trains crashing and the chemical in Texas. It's all next to St. Louis, the king of the swingers, the Sun King, the Dauphin, Apollo, who is going to come through as the son of the Black Madonna. So, it was just, that's why I get tired explaining it all, because if you can't join the dots after everything, and look, we've got 50-50, okay, no, that's got nothing to do with it, but that was the bullseye. That was the bullseye. So there you've got the winter triangle, the merging of the triangles, the squared circle, that's the Louvre, it's the female wolf that mothers Romulus and Remus. It's me trying to explain that again. Okay, I've got to find the chart. Very important when you see that. So the cardinal cross, you've got semi-square at 45. You've got the first leg square at 90. Then you've got 135 to get round to 360. And opposition is 118. Romulus and Remus is RR 1818. Taking the, you know, it's always about these solstice and equinox dates. So the PP is always the 99, or the GG is 77, which is the same as those angles, 7-7, those legs. So this actually shows us completely in between. We're leaving the mutable cross, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, and we're going to fall onto the fixed cross. The fixed cross, Scorpio, should take the winter solstice, Taurus, the summer solstice, and Scorpio, and Leo and Aquarius. Aquarius taking the spring, and Leo taking the autumn. So the whore of Babylon, the horizon, Virgo tames the beast, Beauty and the Beast, Ishtar, and then we've got Sagittarius as being merged with Capricorn. Jupiter wants to crown the whore, you know, this is Pluto in Capricorn, the hag as his power. Yeah, interesting. So that would be Mars with Pisces, Gemini. And so that's with the mutable signs, with the cardinal signs, but we're in this gap between the mutable and the fixed signs. Gemini, Taurus, Pisces, Aquarius, Sagittarius, Scorpio. This is the gap here. This gap here is the galactic gap. So you've got Ophiuchus here, rising the green man, and Odin here. The wand of Odin. At the moment, the summer solstice, the sun is on the wand. It's not in Taurus. It's not in Gemini. It's on the wand. It's in that gap. An old picture of Lars, which really shows this passage, the Passover point that we're at. So for the floods, Saturn had just returned to Aquarius, Neptune had just passed into Pisces, we had Mars right on Aldebaran, we had the moon, I think we saw that it was in Libra, it was passing through here. But this is the fixed cross we're coming back to, and the heads is the true spring, which is Aquarius up here. And this is his lamb. This is the ram, Aries, not wanting to let go and bringing in the Islam energy. And you know these pictures, so these are the famous pictures of this is how the wheel's being closed. So you've got the immature signs, you've got the mutable with the high cardinal, you've got Sagittarius and Capricorn, and crucifying the fixed cross in the gap. So Aquarius in the gap. This is the closing of the four corners, but it should be closed as seen over here. So you've got Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, which should be the ones merging with the high cardinal, but in this gap they close the wheel. The cross of Malta, the Templars are making this bow tie. That's why they all wear bow ties, and that's why the logo of Corona, when it first came out, this is the umbrella, it was in this cross. So here they've got Mars and Venus, but they've got Aries on the outside, Pisces in the middle, and then we've got Gemini and Cancer, when it should be the Sun and the Moon, Cancer and Leo that merge. And here we've got, so the children, the new children, the Mercury being risen with the energy of Kali. Cancer 69, don't forget 69, 6th house is Virgo, 9th house is Sagittarius, the triple earth goddesses is 2nd house Taurus, 6th house Virgo, 10th house Capricorn. That makes the summer solstice crowning Orion, which is Prince William's birthday, the 21st of the 6th, 2 Taurus, 1 comes from the 10, and 6 Virgo, makes the High Priestess passage, Inanna, through the JMB pillars, making one triangle. And then Libra and Virgo, exactly like in the Bible, Libra, Venus, is in detriment in Virgo. It's that Lucifer, La Marianne rising energy. And this is the true closure. Saturn, Twin Peaks, Aquarius red, black, Capricorn, the mutable cross closes, no more mutable cross, in the gap, Jupiter's over Rover, Saturn is reigning, Venus and Mars ruling both these signs together for the true closing. So Venus ruling Taurus, Mars ruling Aries, Mars ruling Scorpio, Venus ruling Libra. And the sun and the moon, there will be no need of the sun and the moon, because the lamp shall be lit. Okay, I'm still looking for the charts. Okay, this is another article I've done. Mercury, Moon, Mars. So Cancer, Diana was always, they told us she was Cancer, but on the sidereal, so this is showing me, this is showing us Diana's chart. So you see we've got Sun on Sirius, Mercury retrogrades, we've got in Gemini, so this is the Sirius Altair axis. Then we've got in Leo, she's got Pluto, Uranus, North Node and Mars, all on Regulus, Leo. She's got Venus on Algol, is Venus on Algol, Medusa, is it? I think it's just in Taurus. And the moon is, it looks like here it's just in Aquarius, but she certainly has a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn. Exactly this energy of Pluto now being in Capricorn. Yep. Scorpio. There was something I was trying to say. Yeah, the North Node, very important. The North Node is in Leo and South Node in exactly on this. So she had this, you know, the lion, the whore of Babylon energy, and the tail in Aquarius next to the moon. So yeah. So this is the coronation of the king. We've got the North Node in Aries, and Chiron is still in Pisces, and he will be for the Paris Olympics. If we edit this and we put 2024, the Paris Olympics is a year later, doesn't matter about rest, just to see where, and there's Chiron in Aries, Chiron's last. So come back to 2023. And you see this, I took the time, 11:15 a.m. Westminster Abbey. I've done a lot about the windows, about the longitude, latitude, all kinds of things. Yeah, the longitude, latitude between Paris and London. You've got that last leg between west and east and north, Westminster, and then Paris is towards the east to make those double angles. So here, you know, Uranus, you imagine this is exactly where Uranus was 84 years ago before its passage for World War II into Taurus. Won't be coming in for 7 years soon. Now we've happily got Pluto. Pluto was retrograde for the coronation, making a big square to all these planets here, and Mercury completely blinded, retrogrades. And we have also a square to Mars on Pollux, and Venus here on the wand of Orion, both in Gemini. Well, you know, this is just on the wand of Orion. It's between the two signs where the summer solstice is. So this is all about the rose, the Tudor rose coming in. I go into great detail in all that in these articles. You know, the rose line. I explain Chiron. D'Artagnan. There is Prince Charles being that passage, the Darkside Solomon to get through. We've got the cats and the frog, you know, that Scorpio energy. That's what we need to look at is at his chart as well. So you can have, let's see, Coronation King, Charles. Okay, so here's Charles's chart. Let's put current transitions. So let's put dates of transitions. Oof, let's not bother. We don't have to because it's so close to, it was just a few days ago. So we just put transitions, and you can see, so the sun for the eclipse, okay, we didn't have it exactly on his moon. Look here, is his Mercury, so he's got this big opposition. He's got his mother who was in the 10th house, the moon, and we had the eclipse with the North Node right on top. The sun retrograde, Harry, red, hairy Harry, and we've got, so, an opposite, the Mercury, and the South Node, South Lunar Node, ruled by Venus down here, ruled by Mars up here. Mars was on Pollux, Venus was on the wand of Orion. So he's born, does he have Jupiter in? I thought he had Jupiter in Virgo. What's he got? Well, he's got Venus in Virgo, so he's got this energy of Inanna. He's got Venus, he's got Saturn in Leo. So when we're going to have Venus coming here, it's going to be retrograding between his Saturn and his Pluto. Wow. And he has Uranus, so right on the wand of Merlin where Venus was, crowning him, the child, up to this 10th place, 10th house, the sun. Vesta is there as well. And we had these meteors. We had a meteor right on Saturn. Let's go back to 5, 6. So there's meteor from Halley's Comet. And there was another one right on the moon. Okay, darlings, I think I've said enough for today. It's, you know, it's a big thing coming back, giving my voice again. I'm glad to be able to be back to work. So I'm catching up with my readings, and I'm going to now spend my time in creating my new community. I already have a new site, which is Accordance Community, where you can buy the course that I did, but I don't really promote it because I don't like the sound on it. But I'm going to be starting to do videos and creating a community and a place where we can do questions and answers, and you know, really creating a community. So I'm going to be working on that now that I'm back. I've done all the works on my home. That's why I stopped doing readings in the November. I went in December because in the November, in 1 month, I made myself a comfy little home to live in. And now I just can focus on my work, focus on my new site. I've done the journey to New Zealand, seen my grandchildren at last, and now I'm back to work. So you can go ahead and book readings. I'm back. Everything is rolling again, and you'll have news from me with a new video soon. All my love, darlings. Bye.